Let's go.
Hello, welcome to Alienate UK. It's Monday, it's not Wednesday, it's not Friday. It just works better for me and Bigfoot Dwarf to do it on a Monday. If we're here at the same time, with it being like an 8-hour difference, so do appreciate it. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Greetings. 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Clear as day.
Sweet. Yeah, no, man, that I love doing this, Andy. So for me, it's no thing, getting up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ABC.
I don't know how you do it. Not gonna do it.
Yeah. And whether it's, being online or offline, being out in the field somewhere, 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, I'm in. And so, I appreciate I appreciate the invite again, brother. And I'm happy to be on. And interesting weekend. I know we've been trying to line things up here. And I just, been getting more into the rhythm of flowing with the go, man. I try not to really I was talking about it last night. I feel like humans, we like to control things and make it our way all the time and stuff. And
it doesn't happen,
right? And so I feel the art of surrendering sometimes is it's not easy, but it's very interesting how when you let things go and things kind of just fall into place. And and I like that, man. I'm working with those energies and frequencies these days, man, for sure. And a salute to Gerald there and everybody. Hopefully you had a great weekend. I just got news late last night that the Pope had passed. Did you hear about this?
I've seen that. So when I was watching you, it's this morning for me. When you was on last night, after it come off, I was scrolling through and it said that he died. And it's like, because they do the white smoke, don't they? But that is the only thing that I'd seen, and it's Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, but did it happen? I've not seen or heard. I've not had the TV on today, so I don't know. But I haven't seen it anywhere else. Nothing on YouTube. Nothing on TikTok. So
I'm sure it's gonna be now once we check. But and I haven't checked, since we were on last night. And it was super cool to have you on like that. A big salute to OGG UK as well for tapping in. And I don't know what she did there, but she made you appear. So she's got some magic tricks herself. Very cool.
Luckily, I was awake. I was just getting ready to take the dog for a walk. She goes, tune in. Bigfoot's on now. I was like, oh, shit. So I'm sat on the edge of the bed and just drop you a few messages.
Right
but
on.
I tell you, you put it on Facebook. It was D.A. Robert, not D.A. Robert. Yeah, D.A. Roberts.
Okay. Yeah,
a couple of people.
Yeah, that's the name. I don't know if it's him.
He put it on there and he said something about him predicting it because he's been on the show. And so kind of like I go with what he says. I can't see reason for him to make anything up. But then was he spammed or something? Or you know what I mean? It could have just been he's seen it and he's thrown it out there. Because I've done it and loads of people have done it.
I haven't checked that out. But and funny thing about D.A. Roberts, I'm aware of him. I know people. I'm friends with people that are friends with him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one time I was in his chat and I use emojis a lot. A lot of the people in the chat love using the emojis. but apparently some streams don't like you using them. And so one of his moderators one time completely blocked me and stuff, and for throwing up a couple of I didn't even go crazy with the emoji. Some people really go crazy with them, and they blocked me, and I was just like, "Oh, what's up, DA? You got some pretty tough moderators there." So I try to stay out of the chat there. But yeah, no, I have no problem with him, and I know he's doing his thing. He's been going through health issues and stuff. So, prayers and healing vibes to him. And going back to the same thing happened with me with the Pope also. Is we were done with the stream, and I also was just kind of scrolling through the YouTube really quick, cruising those YouTube streets as I usually do. And I seen that pop up, and I was like, "Whoa, hold on." And it said on Easter Sunday, and at the age of 88. And so one of I'm big into like the occult and stuff. I love finding out what's in the hiding,
the symbols
the
and all that.
unseen. Yeah. So there's a lot of people that will go in and do breakdowns, with the exactly the symbols, not numerology, like numbers, and just dates. And the rituals come up, and people, on different levels, even, I guess you could say I do certain ritual. I have my rituals. Everyone has rituals, and but we hear about these like secret societies and stuff like that that are supposedly behind some of the major events that happen throughout the world and throughout his story and her story. But I just find it very odd that the Pope happens to make that transition on Easter Sunday.
Yes.
The age of 88.
It's a bit, But I've just looked on Facebook now, and it's now not on there. I just gone on his profile. So now I'm thinking, was it him? But why would he have his name in my head? Do you know what I mean? I would have seen it and then put whoever it was that's posted it to it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what's going on.
But
no idea.
Yeah, but they say it's spring, so a lot of things going on as far as like rituals and different events going on. We had what was it, the Space Girls recently?
Oh my God, Katy
Yeah.
Perry, and that I didn't even know they was going to space, and then I seen it, and it's like, is it a new music video? What's going on? That's what I got from this. Because sorry, did you see the footage when the bloke and the woman went walking up to the capsule and someone pushed it open and they were and shut it again?
I haven't
my God.
I haven't fully seen that, but my niece and my nephew were telling me about it last night. We were all hanging out for the holiday, having a good time, family time. Also, Dwarf celebrates 420 hard.
Yes.
And so we get it lit around here. And they were explaining to me about that. We get into all this stuff with the family. It's super cool, from grandma down to the young nieces and nephews. We try to be aware of what's going on as much as possible. And so we keep each other informed. We talk about these things. And they did mention that. So I do want to go back and check that out. But there was a whole bunch of stuff people were breaking down.
The badge, the emblem upside down, all of them.
Yeah, the Baphomet.
But then I'm thinking, did they put it on them upside down because they're not astronauts and you can only wear the uniform the correct way if you're fully qualified? That's what I was thinking about that. I might be completely right. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that kind of makes sense, wouldn't it? If it did happen.
Right. And the thing is also, the upside down thing could be, like you said, that, but also it could be that these groups or these people like to invert everything. So, that's how I think about that.
Yeah. It just seems to be a lot of it's too fake. But then are they showing us this as a distraction for something else that's going on that we've not yet locked onto.
Yep. And that's another thing I've
and
learned.
I'm looking everywhere and I can't see
Can't
anything else that's going on.
Right. And it's probably dangling right in front of our face, you know?
It's there. It's right
How
there.
they
And I
do it.
can't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And so, and again, last night I was talking to mom, and we were talking about some of the spring type of things going on, these certain events. And then later we have this. So I'm gonna be talking to her about this later today for sure. Like, yep, here we had it, you know, something happened here. So yeah, heads up, everyone. Stay. What is it? Keep your head on a swivel, they say, and watch your six and watch your back.
just watch it everywhere,
right?
Because, like you said, it's like this thing with the Pope to say he's died, and then the thing with Katy Perry not going into. Oh, is it? I don't know. Is it classed as outer space or is it just space? Because you got all the different atmospheric levels, haven't you? So I don't know. I've not read about how far up they're supposed to have gone or how long there's up there for. Nothing like that. I just seen a bit of footage and a few photos. I thought, what a load of crap. And that was it.
Yeah. Something's up. The flags go up. The red flags go up. And what was it? Just right before that too was that landing, right? That whole thing. It was like,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Because
So
they compared the landing, didn't they, with SpaceX?
Okay.
They did a comparison of SpaceX and Blue Origin or whatever it's called. I don't know. And just pathetic. It's all I've got. It's pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, really weird, man. And so yeah, you know, you got to keep those eyes peeled. What put on those you know, there's a movie in the 80s, They Live. Yeah, you got those They Live shades on.
Well, that keeps popping up everywhere about that movie because apparently I seen it was years ago. It's like when it come out in the 80s, and apparently it's set in 2025.
Oh, wow.
But I don't remember it being set in a specific year. But then I was probably about 10, 12, 13 maybe when I watched it. So
yeah,
I don't know. I've slept a lot since then.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Yeah, shout out, rest in peace, Rowdy Piper. Awesome movie there. Also, what is it? So yeah, 2025. That's interesting if that's true. And I could totally see it, bro. If you go outside to LA, I mean, yeah, the neighborhood's nice now. You could have a walk and everything, but it is like They Live when you go outside, bro. It's, you know, there's stuff happening on. It's wild, bro. You seen the speed chases? I've been starting to like cover and stuff like that, and I've been sharing out some of the channels that they're called stringers. They go out to calls before first responders do sometimes, and they stream, and it's just you really get to see the rawness of the city. And even as we speak this morning, I was hearing there's a chase going on right now somewhere in Southern California, and it's just like it's a thing, man. The crime is out of control. And again, you know, you could go out and have a good time, and you know, life is good, life is great, but it's wild as well, man. The concrete jungle is just
do you find when you go out, so when you got to go shopping or you've got to go like do an errand or somewhere and go somewhere, and you're going to be there a while, and you're passing all these different people, do you feel that some of these people are just not with what's happening?
Yeah, definitely.
Like the NCPs. NPCs, sorry.
Yeah, NPCs. What's the other one? PODs is another term. Pods. Yeah.
Pods, right.
Which is very, I think it's the same thing as the NPC. I forget the
non-player character.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Like
these I don't know, these extras you would call them that are part of your
and they just
your movie.
Too docile. I'm like, because we went shopping this morning, went to a couple of stores and walking around there, and it's like, seriously, how have you got up and got dressed and gone out the house and got here, and you don't even know how to shop? And I just think, is it me getting old and just getting moany as I get old? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Getting grumpy as I get older.
Oh yeah.
But it's not everywhere. It's just, well, it is everywhere, but it's not constant. It's just, there just seems to be a lot in one place at one time, and then there'll be nothing happening for a while, and then you go somewhere else. I cannot be doing with this.
Yep. Yeah, we got it here like that, man. And yeah, and California in particular, compared to a lot of the other states, we're kind of like the Florida of the West Coast. The Florida's known. You ever heard of Florida Man?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's Florida Man. And so anytime there's a crazy situation in Florida and there's a man involved, it's Florida Man. And then there's more to that. There's this dude that I think that used to do some crazy stuff who actually, coined the Florida Man term. But now anytime, so it's like that out here where it's just like, nonstop. You don't know if who's gonna do what at what time. It's just weird. It's kind of scary. And but yeah, no, I questioned some of the people out here. I've seen, growing up in Hollywood, especially a lot of strange people there. And it makes you wonder, where are these people coming from? Who are they? And are they really human?
Well,
And
that's it. It's like they don't know how to be human. That's the feeling I get from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then they seem too stupid to be of a higher intelligence.
That too.
Do you know what? So it's like you can't have both. It's got to be one or the other. You can't have a full contradiction in one person. Well, you can, because it happens, but it's just, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But Geralt's just put not active till confronted. They're not active even when they are confronted.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's weird. Yeah. And also, I want to do, also explain like how I feel about like some of this crime happening here. I honestly feel, the mental illness is an issue. It comes up. Salute, Rob. Good to see you, brother BMR. Much love to you. Glad you tapped in here.
I like Ike.
There's Pancho Zorch. Right on. Cool. We got some friends hanging out. And cheers to everyone in the UK and everyone everywhere else you may be listening. But I question some of these people when they're doing this crazy stuff. And I say, no one's exempt. We have our bad days, things happen, life, but some of this stuff is so wild that I question whether they're possessed by something. So I think there's a spiritual element to this, whether it be substance abuse, mental illness. I think they're diagnosing a lot of things mental illness, but I think it could be also that people are possessed by these entities, spirits, and different things on that sort of level. But yet, on the face value, you can't call it a possession or that this person has, so they gotta, label it something, for science or whatever. So mental illness, I think, is a thing now, and it's a big issue out here, man, and it's spreading.
Yeah, because my first ever acknowledgement of this weird stuff from what may or may not be humans was I'd not long since moved to the south of the UK and probably been here about 6 months, and I got a fairly decent job. And I was walking up the road and this woman stopped me. Right? English, because I'm not being thingy, but you get a lot of foreign people, they don't know certain things, like, I suppose, with the language barrier as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she said to me, she goes, "How do I cross the road?" Like, what? What even? What? I just, just gets you off guard. I'm like, what do you mean? How do you cross the road? She goes, "Well, I need to get to the other side of the road." I went, "Well, you put one leg in front of the other, and it's called walking. You keep going till you get there. What do you want me to say?" And she looked at me like I was nuts. And this was this would be 2009, 2010, thereabouts. But so you can walk up and cross the road, and they have underpasses. You're like a little subway where you can cut under. Like I know you have them in the US. So it clearly tells you can cross over the road or you can go under, whatever you want to risk. And this is like probably about 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And you don't get any gangs or anything hanging about. It's like in the city centre. And it was just, what do you mean? How do you cross the road?
Yeah. And so, again, so could could she have been on medication? Could she, again, maybe really, maybe there's, things issues people have.
But she didn't look like she was off her head. She didn't look like she was on any substances. Didn't smell of alcohol. She wasn't even smoking a cigarette. There's nothing untoward other than this ridiculous question. So I don't know. And that was the first time I recognised what was going on. And from then on, I think it's just gone downhill.
Yeah. And so is that area of the UK known for,
No.
Oh, okay.
It's quite it's just a normal UK suburb. Yeah, there's nothing. It's not known for. Yeah, you get crime. You get crime everywhere, but it's not like Spice Row or anything like that. There's none of that going on. Yeah, you get a few homeless people and that, and where they now live in tents and what have you, and they sleep on the underpass. But they don't bother you. They're there out the way to keep sheltered, to keep warm, keep dry, and that's it. But I'd say she was probably late 20s, early 30s. Simon's Port, unless she had dementia, and she crossed the road. She did cross the road because I thought I'll watch and see where she goes and what she does. And she just walked off and went into one of the business buildings.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, and then so over here, I could tell you, like, we'll have like someone, speaking of crossing the road, we'll have someone like maybe cross the road backwards, pushing a cart and maybe wearing something. You'll see some strange stuff, bro.
Well, it's like, so where I'm from in Manchester, which is the northwest of the UK, that's a big city. It's like London, it's like Birmingham, places like that. You get them characters.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, because I grew up there, lived there, you get to know everything and a lot of the people, you know what's what. So you expect to see particular characters in particular parts of the town or parts of the county. So you kind of if you go there, you're going to know what to expect.
Right.
And do you know what I mean? But this was just, I worked in this other place, worked there for 2 years, never came up to me again, and nobody else reported that they'd had this woman come up to him and asking him how to cross the road. So I don't know. It was a one-off. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you got to question, and you got to question that too. Was that really a person? Was there some sort of maybe other things happening around you at that time? Maybe it was some sort of message for you.
But do you know what? Right, I'm going to give the location away because it might link to something else. I know this is about you, but I've got to tell you. So it's Milton. So it's Milton Keynes, which is Buckinghamshire, which is probably 30-40 miles north of London.
Okay.
And I've spoke to a few people about this, and Albert Rosales was one of them because he does about humanoids. I was in the shopping centre one Saturday afternoon with a few people who stood outside McDonald's and waiting to get something to eat. And there's this woman, she's about 6.5 foot tall, pure skin was flawless, pure blonde hair, eyes blue, more blue than your bandana, right? They were like ice blue. And she would just stand, she stood with these two blokes. Do you ever hear the hairy bikers from the UK that go around cooking and they go all over? The two guys look like them, like biggish guys, beards, glasses,
burly,
scruffy, scruffy-ish looking, like the typical motorbike guy, And I'm like, she was completely out of place. So I turned to, was deciding what I was having to eat. So I turned to say, I'm going to get blah, blah, blah. Turn back, gone, all of them. No, and where I was stood, it was like the entrance in and out of the shopping mall. I could see left and right down the corridors. There's a bank at the side of me, McDonald's there. Then outside was like an outside food area. Like they do barbecue and sausages and German frankfurters, all the different European foods.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have seen her in any direction, even though it was busy. I'm like, oh, just completely gone. And that was probably about within 2 years of that woman asking me how to cross the road. So there could be a connection with that. That wasn't that same woman, by the way. But now I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking, was it a non-human? Could it have been something connected to that? I don't know.
And by the descriptions of it, if they were, in my mind, if they were maybe like ET or something else, they sound like a Nordic Vikings or some sort of Nordics.
I just thought Palladian.
Oh, Pleiadian. Okay.
Palladian, Nordic, that kind of look.
Mm-hmm. And so I do look at people like that. When I look at people, I notice certain features, and I want to say I'm pretty good at maybe telling where people may be from.
Yeah.
And so I look at that, and so it's a lot of we get a lot of indigenous people around here from different parts of different countries, and so I'll look at them and imagine, I'm like, okay, maybe this guy is from like Peru or something. Maybe he's probably got some Incan blood in him or something, and so I kind of look at things like
analyze them.
Yeah, and so even when I hear descriptions of people like you mentioned, I'm thinking, oh yeah, like Nordic or Viking like.
It was it was how pure and flawless the skin was. And
wow,
this short white hair, not blonde, pure white. It was short, cropped, ice blue eyes, and she was just kind of looked out of place with these two blokes.
Weird.
Yeah.
And you know what? We get that even in, I've noticed Northern California, which we'll probably get into. I've noticed a lot of even weird people things are a little more remote out that way. And but I've met some strange people up that way as well. So I'm like, what is it with this area? Shasta attracts a lot of interesting people as well, and they talk about the tall white, like certain tall white ETs up on the mountain and all that. And Shasta's not too far from where I was living up in Northern California. So it wouldn't surprise me if some of that strange activity leaches on over to the coast. And
it's funny you should say that, because Heidi Pop came in the chat as you said that. And as you know, we were talking about Shasta on Friday.
I caught that. Happy rising, Heidi Pop. Yeah, I'm glad she popped in here.
There you go.
Yeah. And so Shasta, is one of those places that I'm very attracted to. I've been there several times, spent a little bit of time there, haven't lived in that area, but it's not far from where my queen's father lived at the time. There was a county in Northern California that's known for Bigfoot and all the weird stuff. It's called Trinity County. And Grandpa had we call him Grandpa, and he recently transitioned last year onto the other side.
Yeah.
And but he had a cabin up there in Trinity County, so a lot of times we'd go into one of the major towns was Redding, California, and just a little north of Redding is where Mount Shasta is. So anytime we had a chance of dropping by, we definitely do that. And then it would be also on our way, Highway 5 Highway 5, you could see Mount Shasta, and then Highway 5 will take you up into Oregon, which that That's where the Queen's at the moment. I have not been back to Oregon, so we live in Southern Oregon at the moment, but I've
Yeah.
been in LA, the past 3 or 4 years. Brother and I opened up a business, so, we've been,
Yeah.
just steady, chipping away at that, and, so, yeah, quite a change of pace in life for me. I
Bit
do
upbeat
miss
now.
Yeah, I do miss being in the woods, man, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And now we're back in the Hollywood, the land of, magic, illusions, and smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
I prefer the redwoods, let me tell you. And,
Yeah.
but yeah, we briefly got into last time, I believe
Yes.
how I ended up in Northern California, even though I'm a Southern California,
Yeah.
homegrown in Southern Cali. Uh, yeah, I had a friend that went up to there's a school up in Humboldt County, California, and Humboldt's, right on the coast as well, just like LA is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
way up at the top of California where not too many people go and not too many people know about. It's weird, man. You talk to people in Southern California, and they're like, "Where? Humboldt County? Like,
Never
never
heard of
heard
it.
of it."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they have heard of it, it's gonna be most likely in reference to the whole 420 topic, because
Right.
Humboldt
Got you.
County has been known for just being the mecca of growing ganja.
Right.
And of course, many other things. I mean, it's known for the redwoods, which is
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, that's one of my favorite things. I think the whole 420 thing is just icing on the cake. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I was very attracted. So I had a friend going up to Humboldt State University, which is now a poly, and so yeah, my friend going up to school was like, "You need to get up here." I made my way up there,
Yeah.
fell in love, and it became a ritual every year to go to this reggae festival that they had up there. It's a 3-day reggae festival in the redwoods. Amazing, amazing event that's been going on a long time. And so for about 12 years I would go up every year, and there was other music festivals going on. And over the years, this is like over 10 years, every year going up and hanging out and making friends and stuff like that. Eventually one year, a friend I had, made up that way, she had a partner that was living in Humboldt, had a piece of land and needed help, and, uh, and I eventually ended up on the land, long story short, and, it was an old hippie commune, but no one was living there. It was just the landowner at the time. Everyone else had moved out, the kids, the families throughout the years
Yeah.
had moved out. Humboldt County was also known as this place for where the hippies that were back in the time where the counterculture movement was strong and everything, and once that started dwindling out, a lot of people, being in San Francisco, LA also, but San Francisco was a big hub for all this. And once that started like phasing out, a lot of those people moved up to Humboldt County with this whole mindset of like the back to the land
Yeah.
movement, homesteading and stuff like that. And so some of those people are still up there, man. And so real hardcore hippies. And this guy was one of them. And yeah, we became really good friends. And he just taught me the ropes of how to live in the hills up there.
Yeah.
And I fell in love, man. My family probably thought I was going to return right away. And no, I ended up staying over 10 years.
Wow.
And yeah, we ended up getting, I met my queen, and we got a place together. And yeah, things went good and bad. It was just
Yeah.
interesting times. And I found out that Humboldt County is like Bigfoot Mecca. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it was a trip, and I first found that out when I got up there. Being in those redwoods. Let me tell you, when you face a redwood, it's life changing, bro.
Yeah.
It'll change you. And it's something about those trees in that area, uh, that I don't know. I guess the Bigfoot must like it, because according to a certain databases, Humboldt County has the most Bigfoot reports out of any other county in California. And they say
Wow.
California ranks about third, up
Yeah.
in the uh, ones, twos, or threes of Bigfoot states having the most activity. And yeah, for a long time, I think we were like third place or something like that. And of course, Washington is first, and then people kind of battle for the second place there. You know, Oregon comes in sometimes, and you know, there's other states pushing in for sure. But yeah, no, there's definitely a lot going on there, and you notice it when you go up there. You see a lot of businesses using the Bigfoot in their logos or in the names of their businesses.
Yeah.
You see all types of Bigfoot stuff, a lot of redwood carvings. It's just they're the locals up there, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's I was like, okay, yeah, we're up in the hills now, Bigfoot country. And I asked the landowner, you know, he was of Irish origin, so his roots are like Irish, and he's very much in touch with that and in touch with the land and stuff. And we had gotten into, like, he had mentioned about fairies and stuff like that. And so one day I had talked to him about Bigfoot and stuff like that, and he kind of just wasn't having it. And I thought it was a little strange. I was like, dude, you tell me about fairies and the fae and different things like that. He shared some Irish books and stuff that he had, and he was serious about it. And but when it came to Bigfoot, it seemed like almost like I don't know, he was kind of avoiding it almost in a sense. I was wondering, I was like, "Man, did something happen with you here?" And you just don't wanna bring that up, you know?
Yeah,
And
because I'm thinking if he didn't believe in it, I've not met the guy, but he'd probably tell you outright that you're talking rubbish, or he must have had something go on.
I think so.
To not want to mention it.
Yeah. And, you know, and being up on that particular spot where he was, it's prime. I mean, it's prime country for all this type of wildlife that we have out here, bears, mountain lion. And there was someone that lived down in the valley, down below, downhill.
Yeah.
And she was caretaking for a guy out there, and she had mentioned that there was Bigfoot on their property, and that property basically wasn't far at all, um, as the crow flies, as they say.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I could see that, you know, if they are there, they'd probably come around up the hill there as well. And then on one side, this area of California is called Honeydew, California, and they say it's one of the sweet, if not the sweetest spot of California. And let me tell you, it was sweet. There's it's called the Rockefeller Redwood Forest. So there's several redwood forests that go along Highway 101 in Humboldt County. And actually, to get up into Honeydew, there's a couple of ways, but one of them is you have to go through the Rockefeller Redwood Forest, which is an amazing drive. Never get bored of it. And you have to go through this forest to get up the hill there. And that forest down there, it's this area, this strip of state parks of redwood forest is called the Avenue of the Giants. Okay. Yeah, and it's and I think it's for a couple of reasons. Not only the giant redwoods, but I think our hairy giant friends.
The other giants.
Yeah. There's a little pamphlet that you could actually check out, and that they hand out on certain stops for the Avenue of the Giants, and it explains certain areas of interest, stops that you can make throughout the Ave. And there's one in particular where they talk about a Bigfoot sighting that someone had reported. And I thought that was very interesting that they even threw that in. Maybe it's just a little tourist thing, I don't know, but they threw that in. And that area, so the Avenue of the Giants, living within that area, I got to explore a whole lot. And I got to explore a whole lot of places throughout the county, actually. But Avenue of the Giants is like one of my spots, and I was able to frequent it a whole lot. And and I had mentioned, I believe last time also, that so moving out of Honeydew, eventually I moved out several years later. Queen and I got a place, and it's same thing up in the hills, a little further down in the county. And so these hills are, a lot of them are you know, a lot of woods, hardwoods, and some firs and stuff like that. So a lot of cover there. And yeah, we started having, I started learning more about the Bigfoot stuff and learning about some of the activity people were experiencing and explaining. And man, did some of this stuff start happening? It's happening to me, dude. It was the weirdest thing. And so the more I got into it, the more these things were happening. And so, uh, Southern Humboldt, this new spot that I'm living in, and
Yeah.
a nice chunk of land there. And to give, I think we also explained the last time, to give people an idea, there's a documentary by it's on Netflix, and I forget who it's by, but it's called Murder Mountain, and it's basically about that area of Humboldt County and just some of the activity that was happening up there. It was a lot of it was cannabis related. They throw the cannabis issue in there, but there was the issue of, for a while, Humboldt County was known as it had the title of like uh, being number one for missing people. Yeah.
It's like a missing
Yeah, yeah.
411.
Well, not exactly that. It was more, it seemed to be more crime related due to the cannabis industry and the whole cannabis scene. But then, there's other elements when there's cannabis, and then there's other elements that come in with things like that, and money, and other darker stuff. And so you mix that, and then also, it being such a rural place, things happen, and it just became this area where a lot of crime was happening, and it was I don't know, it became known where people could go up and find work, and then sometimes you would not make it back, and it could be for several reasons. And there's actually another documentary that came out that's along the same lines, and this one's on Hulu, and it's called Sasquatch. And so I'll just leave it at that. There's some twists and turns, and that title is a hook, so heads up, all right? But that Sasquatch, I guess you could call it, like, it's kind of a documentary, is a little further south of where this area I'm talking to you about Murder Mountain. So it's somewhat the same areas. It's actually a different county, but there's a back road. If you know the back roads back there, it'll connect you to these two areas. And so that gets into also some unalivings and stuff, the whole Sasquatch thing. Very interesting. Check it out. And that's that area of Northern California as well. So, kind of notorious, and there's been crime, but at the same time, man, you have that dark side of things, and you have the complete opposite. And it's to me, it was paradise. I loved it up there. And I can't wait to get back, dude. So anyway, I started having activity on the property there, started taking notes of stuff. Started learning about the stick structures, which I do believe is a phenomenon happening in the Bigfoot arena. And you're familiar with the stick structures, right?
Yes. Yeah.
People find these
all the
teepees and
circles, the bending, the branches,
X's,
trees taken out of the ground, upside down.
Yeah. And I started finding, so I started learning about people and what they were finding. And so I was like, you know what, let me look around the property, see if I find anything. Started finding certain little things, but it could have been the previous owners that were there, I don't know. And so, but started taking note of these things, and also heading down to the Avenue of the Giants and stuff like that, checking out these state parks. And down there, I really started finding stuff, the teepees and a lot of the more intricate type of structures. The stuff on the property seemed a little more subtle. But there was other stuff going on, like certain vocalizations, certain I've heard, people report that what sounds like knocking, wood on wood type knocking. And it wasn't like a far off neighbor hammering or anything. I've had the knocking happen during a heavy storm too. I was out getting wood for the wood stove, and heard some knocks from way up on the ridge. It was a rainy night, and I knew it was late. No one's out there hammering at something. And
But if you were the thing of the wood knocking, people are starting to think now that they're doing it with the mouth or the throat. That
I've heard that.
Bigfoot are actually making the sounds themselves.
Yeah. So it's not really people maybe imagine that it's something hitting a tree with a piece of wood,
wood on wood.
like that, right? That's what it sounds like. But yeah, there has been talks of the mouth pops, and I've heard people go as far out as saying that they're like maybe popping out of trees, because there's the whole theory of them being able to go inside of trees and stuff like that, which I don't doubt. Yeah, I don't doubt that.
It was Barry Littleton.
Yeah,
he came on and he was saying about it's like using the trees as portals. BMR Rob, who's just been in Jessica Jones, a few of the others, but they're the first three that come to me. And it'd be about 12, 18 months ago that this was mentioned when I first heard about it, and it's like, do you know what?
And and I guess
why not?
You could go any which way. I mean, we haven't. I want to say there have been some reports that I've read and heard about where people have described them actually using a piece of wood to hit a tree. So there have been reports of that, but who knows if it's true or not? And we're getting our trash picked up out here. You might hear a little noise. I ran out there and took the bins out, because my nephews were up all last night, so they didn't do their duties this morning. I'm gonna get on them later. Uncle Dwarf gonna get on them. So it's very possible, and I think if anything, the redwood would be one of the trees for them to be able to do that. There's these interesting cavities that we find in the redwoods. I know there's probably a scientific name for them, but the redwood, as it gets big, they sometimes will split open, and it makes like perfect shelter, man, where you could go in and camp out. You could live in it. You could live in a redwood tree if you'd like.
Yeah. Well, they've got redwood forests in the UK. Obviously, they've been
all right.
They're not native to the UK, but there's a place called Woburn Sands, and there's a big golf course there, a couple of forests, and it's just redwoods all the way through. And it's one of them places I just love driving through it, because you're looking around. It's like, this would be, even before I really got into Bigfoot and cryptids and all that, I'd be driving through, and it's like, if there is Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, this is where, or even a dogman, this is where it would go. It's just, there's something about it. Yeah.
Yep. And
it might be the energy, I don't know, but there's definitely something about it.
Yeah, and those the especially the old growth redwoods, I get this grandpa and this grandparent energy from them, and of course they've been around for thousands of years, some of them. And exactly what you said, man. There's this like feeling, there's a vibe about these forests that just, like you said, if anywhere they would be here, you sense it. And that's the feeling you get when you're up in these woods. And also, especially certain times, we're known for the fog up there too. And let me tell you, when that fog rolls in and you can only see the bottom of those redwoods, man, it's
amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah. And that really sets the vibe for things, man. And so I started exploring, started finding these strict structures in certain places, started pinpointing these spots. They became my spots, right? So I would follow up, and things would be constructed and deconstructed. I mean, you name it. And then I started, I figured, I was like, all right, I've been trying to check out reports online, anywhere, talk to locals. And so I started getting information, getting tips on where to go and stuff like that. And then I started hearing about reports on the beach and stuff like that in those areas. And so I started checking some of these beaches out, and I started finding these stick structures on the beach being made with driftwood and other items. And I was like, I thought it was just a forest thing, like you could only find these structures in the woods, but no, you're fine. I started finding them on the beach in these locations with historical reports, and I was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Had my little detective spectacle on there. And yeah, just started putting one and two together. Things started coming together, and yeah, it was for me. It was kind of like a new thing. I didn't see anyone else out there really showing structures on the beach at the time, and I just felt like, yeah, I was onto something there. And so yeah, definitely a structure guy. There's something going on there with these stick structures, and sometimes these structures you can't even get in them. They're just like, it's almost like art.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, yeah, what who's building them? I've never seen a Bigfoot build them, so I can't prove that it's them. I mean, a lot of the times it seems like people, maybe
Yeah.
hippie hanging out, having a
But
good
then
time or something.
you've never seen a person build one.
Nope.
Then
Nope.
they just appear. They're there.
Yeah,
And then
and I
they're
would
not there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I got to move up into some of these coastal areas, so I was going around at nighttime too. And I
Yeah.
actually got to meet a guy who would, in this particular area where I had my second sighting. We could talk about that again. I believe we did last time. This guy would take care of this area, and it was like a parking lot at one of these beaches. And so he lived there. And I asked him
Yeah.
about the structures, and same thing. He's like, yeah, I don't know who builds them. They just kind of pop up, he said.
It's mad. It's crazy. It really
Mhm.
is.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'd think there'd be some evidence or some residue of something or someone that's been there.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Because
I found footprints around some of them, and they weren't huge. They looked like normal human-sized footprints,
yeah,
but I don't know, it was just kinda weird where I found it. And, the footprints were in sand, so there could be certain, due to the movement and the sand and
yeah,
everything could give it certain, looks and shapes that are
yeah.
questionable. But no, I'm thinking, well, maybe it was a young one, maybe it's the young ones out messing around building these things.
But
Because
why is no one seeing them? That's the thing.
yeah, that's true. And some of these structures are massive, really big,
Yeah,
and some again, I say are tiny, and they'll have like little entrances, so it seems like inviting for someone to come in and sit down. And so the
yeah,
tiny ones, I wonder, and the people have talked about possibly it's the young ones mimicking the older ones, or maybe learning how
yeah,
to
yeah.
do these things, which is very
But
possible.
surely, because they've got to get the wood, they've got to carry it and put it whatever location they're using it. So it's not just they appear with all this wood and they create it there, and they've got to go and collect it.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Yeah, I've noticed that.
it's
Yeah, so it's taking some work.
it doesn't make sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's effort
And
and movement and a lot of time going into it.
oh, yeah. And, on these beaches, some of these beaches, are prime for a driftwood, and people
Yeah,
like going out collecting driftwood. It's super, I love it. Um, I love the driftwood. I don't collect it, but,
yeah,
uh, I was gonna say, so the driftwood washes up from the beach. So
yeah.
these spots are known, or they wash down from rivers into these beach areas. And, but there I found some of these intricate structures on parts of the beaches where there's no driftwood around. So it's like
So
someone went and collected this stuff and
yeah, and
brought it
took it.
over, which
Yeah,
could have
yeah,
been a major task,
yeah.
and they're popping
There's a
up.
lot. Yeah, there's no track with wheels, so they're carrying a cart behind them or anything, is there? So
Mhm. And, I have found a video on I'll try to find it again, and it's a video of it's from the UK, and it's on a
yeah.
beach, and there's just a bunch of teepees, and I was like, "Whoa," and it looked just like the stuff we find out here, and I was like,
Ah,
"Wow." Yeah, you gotta find that beach, man. Go see what's going on
I
there, Andy.
know. I do. I do. I'm going to be out and about this year, so
Right on.
I need places. I've got places that I'm going to be going, but I need
Okay.
more places to go to.
Yeah, I'll do some digging around, see what I can find for
Yes.
the UK, and
Cheers.
maybe guide you that way. Um Yeah, no, I would love to go out your way and check things out. There was several Bigfooters from the UK several years back that I was, friends with. Sometimes they'll pop up here and there, but it seemed like the UK kind of went underground again. Haven't really heard or seen too much coming out of there. Every once in a while, I'll see some of these guys post, but most of them were pretty small channels, low key, but finding very similar stuff to what we're finding here in the US. And
I know. I was just going to say, I know 2, maybe 3 people that do like concentrate. Oh, 4, sorry, that concentrate on Bigfoot and cryptids.
Okay.
And they're not really putting anything out there. They're going investigating. There's one of them. He goes and investigates where something's happened or where he's claimed that something's gone on. But when he goes, there's literally no evidence of anything. It's just you're taking his word on it. So,
and it's tough, man. Let me tell you,
what is going on?
Yeah, it's not always, for some people. There's some people that got it, man. Like every time they go out, they do find interesting stuff. And then for some people, they don't ever find anything. My brother does a lot of hiking. He's done a lot of hiking out here in Southern California, and he really hasn't found any like major. He's found some tracks that were interesting. And I don't know what he did with those pictures, but pretty much when I go out, I've gotten pretty good at finding these things, and usually I'll find something. But there's a lot of times that you don't find, nothing happens. There's definitely more. It's more times that nothing happens than something happening. But it's just been over the years, things have accumulated, and luckily I have some things to share. But so definitely something going on with these stick structures. And it seems like more of, because there's a whole camp that are totally against it, think it's bull crap, and maybe Boy Scouts and stuff like that. And but I see more and more of some of those guys starting to actually acknowledge and accept that maybe it is something.
See, I get that, because there are going to be humans that are going out doing this. Whether it's, like you say, scouts or just groups of people going camping. But it's the ones that are like in the most obscure places you can think of. And the two, for me, I've not seen any like real life with my own eyes, only on video or photos, but they seem too good to be done by a person. It would take a person or a group of people fair amount of time to do it, and unless they're out on private land or somewhere that no one else knows about, then you're going to get seen doing it. But then saying that, are people seeing them and they just don't think anything of it and just walk past and carry on?
Too. That happens a whole lot, and then there's times where I have found people inside of the teepees. And I've done interviews with them, man. I'll question them like, hey, do you know who built this and this? And there was one time, one guy, he's like, and it was an awesome teepee, big and probably like 1,000 sticks and stuff on the beach. And he was like, no, I didn't build this one, but he said something like, I have, and he picked up a big old log, and he's like, yeah, you see, I could lift this, and so he was able to do that. But I think he was, I don't know, maybe trying to just have a conversation, and we did. We had a video recorded him, and he explained he was, had native blood, and got into his views on Bigfoot and stuff like that. Because I explained to him what I thought was going on there, and he was with it. But he was like, "Oh yeah, no, I build some of these sometimes." But I think he was kind of he was out there. So I think he was trying to get some camera time there. But I do question people, and I have seen people like around them. There's one time for sure that I've seen like a family around one of these teepees, and it seemed like maybe they were adding onto it. So
never thought of that.
Built it.
So if someone started and then they found some sticks and it's like, oh, we'll put some more onto it, then they've carried on, and then someone else has come along. It could just be an ongoing thing. So you've got this massive structure, And it's like, who the hell built this? And it's like done over like 5-6 different groups of people over about 2-3 months. Yeah, that'd make a lot of sense, because then it's like, well, no, we didn't do it. It was already there. But then they don't explain that, but we did add some stuff to it.
Right. And sometimes you'll find human things inside. And I'm seeing, man, an hour already flew by, Andy. We're just getting started here. And I know you mentioned you wanted to do the show for maybe about an hour, but you let me know. We need to cut it off and you know, timing and everything. No problem, man.
Do another 10 minutes if that's all right before I
Yeah,
get
no
summoned.
problem. Let's do another 10. But like I'm saying, we're just getting started here. We could go on and on about this
I
topic.
know. I could do this all night.
Yeah, and to give people a heads up, we did mention last time that so this area of Humboldt County, it's Humboldt that gets the cake, but there's several counties. This is where the famous Patterson-Gimlin film was taken, peeps. Oh yeah. And it's just kind of fascinating that happened up there. And so there's several counties. It's one called Del Norte, from the north in Spanish, Del Norte County. There's Siskiyou County, which is where Shasta is. There's Trinity County that I mentioned earlier, and Humboldt County. They all kind of meet in this area where it's called Bluff Creek, right? Where the PG film was filmed. And so Humboldt takes the cake, but it's basically right in that area there. And it's one of our main places of investigation as well. We've done several call them expeditions. We get together. Bluff Creek Project is a group that you could check out on Facebook, YouTube. They're, I think, more active on the Facebook, but they cover that whole area there, have done a whole lot of work on pinpointing where Patty walked, Patty the Bigfoot, what trees were around. And yeah, so they really cover that area. They got game cams up in that area still. Of course, nothing's been caught on game cam, but some amazing wildlife. Bears, mountain lion, and the elusive Humboldt martin. Yeah, they're still around. And so we go up there basically every year. So just like the reggae festival, and I used to do that ritual every year, I do Bluff Creek pretty much every year. And it sounds like we're on for this July as well. So last year I went up twice, and it was a big effort coming from Los Angeles. Usually if I was living up that way, it'd just be like maybe a couple hours. And from down here, it's like 16-hour drive, bro.
Wow.
Yeah.
You could drive around the UK twice.
Woo! You just barely getting to the top of California.
Wow.
There. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But we make it happen. I love the drive, love driving across crazy California, and just being in that area there. And there's, I've done quite a bit of recording. There's been some way better quality stuff pumped out by our good friend Alex Pedikov from Small Town Monsters. And also our good friend Jonathan Easley from Western Bigfoot Explorations. And those are two YouTube channels. Maybe I'm sure maybe some of your people know about Small Town Monsters. They pump out documentaries every Sunday. They just dropped a really good one this Sunday.
They do so much.
Yeah. Our homie Bart Coutinho was featured on this last one, and he's showing thermal footage from the Sierra kill site. And I don't know if you heard about all that, but there's an actual they talk about this kill site where this guy killed a baby Bigfoot, they say. And up here in the Sierras, yeah, man. And so Bart and several other of people that I know, Bobo, have gone up to do a follow-up on that whole investigation of the Sierra kill site. And so Small Town Monsters, they've been putting out these Eli Watson putting out these documentaries based on that, and he's covered a lot of Southern California Sasquatch stuff, so a lot of good stuff coming out of there. And so Alex Pedikov had came out this summer to Bluff Creek, and your boy BD was there with Alex and the rest of the gang. And so we did a night, we were up there for like a week, bro.
Wow.
Amazing. Had some amazing activity. Had no sightings, but a lot of audio. We are hearing all types of knocks and things happening. It was pretty amazing night. I actually got a piece of footage we talked about last time. We got to show this, man. And
Yes.
feel free.
Yeah.
I could share any of my footage. You could share it or like remix or if you want to post on your channel or anything like that,
Oh,
man.
nice one. Cheers for
Yeah,
that.
bro. Just tag me on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some stuff. So on that trip with Alex and them, we were driving around Bluff Creek area. We had gone up to this spot where we heard some audio, where we felt audio was coming from, and there's a whole backstory to that. So we go to this area, and I'm in the back of the car, and it's like 3-4 in the morning, going through those hills. It's pretty creepy, and something told me to, dude, record with your phone, and so I recorded, and yeah, we got some weird anomaly. I had sent it to Garrel, and it looks like this
Yeah.
shadowy black figure goes
Oh,
across
it crosses
the
the
road.
road.
Yeah. So, we
Yes.
had that happen, and it was just an interesting time. And so, yeah, you could check that out. It's called The Return to Bluff Creek on Small Town Monsters. And so I do a little pop up there, and then slightly he did two actually episodes, two documentaries from that particular trip. And the second one is called The Lost Bigfoot Highway. And that's also on Small Town Monsters. And yeah, on that one we pop up a little bit, but yeah, basically Alex focuses on this road, this interesting road there, and super cool documentary. I'm glad he touched on that. And we did an overnight hike in that whole area there. And so yeah, man, just being out in the field, and luckily I got some new gear now that I want to put to work, hopefully step up the quality of the videos and what we're doing here. And so yeah, focusing now on production. I didn't know I was like focused on just trying to record some of the findings, but now I'm seeing that, dude, there's a whole thing to producing content and putting it together and doing these live streams. So it's a whole other world of stuff that I'm learning now.
And do you know what? The best way to do it is just teach yourself. Get tips and tricks from other people, but do it. Just do it your own way. Do it how you want to do it. That is the best. For me, I find it's the best way, and everyone said the same thing.
I think you're right. And we're gonna go ahead and do that, man. Just start taking footage of things that we weren't really putting into our content before. My stuff is just basically raw. A lot of it I was just using my cell phone and just recording what I'm finding, But I see how you can put things together a different way and serve it up a certain way to where people could digest it and enjoy, and so I want to really focus on things like that now. And yeah, like I said, getting the streaming gear here, the podcasting gear together now, other gadgets, thermal units, night vision. There's a bunch of little videos on my channel that you could check out. I actually had orb sighting yesterday for Easter.
Oh,
yeah, I made it into a little short, so you could check that out. We're always getting strange sightings of UFOs, UAPs, and yeah, there's some recent Bigfoot stuff as well. We've been coming out to the Angeles National Forest here. Had gotten some recent thermal footage that is very interesting, and the way it went down as well. And I was just talking to my nephews because we were together when all this happened, and we're going to be heading back up there really soon to do a complete follow-up. We did a follow-up to this whole situation, and we're going to continue with this follow-up and hopefully pinpoint where this subject was and try to figure out what it was that we captured on thermal.
Wow. Yeah, you'll have to let us know. Keep us updated. Right, I put a poll out to find out if the Pope is dead. So the poll actually said, has the Pope died? Yes, no. And then I just thought, for a laugh, I put, he's a reptilian. So we've got 9 votes. 78% said yes, he's died. 22% have said he's a reptilian.
Wow. So, very possible. And, he was a Druid.
Yeah, so I reckon he might have passed over, should we say.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And, out of all days, Easter.
I know.
And what's up with the number 88? I mean, I know the 8s are a good number, especially if you get those triple 8s.
Yes.
You know, it's like hitting the 777s. But yeah, I wonder what's up with the double eights. Got to break that down. And
see, eight's a good number for me. There's a lot of eights throughout my life. So
yeah, I believe the eights are good numbers. And they also mentioned about a rainbow going over his, like, the hospital he was at.
Ah, okay.
There's a rainbow that appeared, I guess, when they announced that he had made the transition. And yeah. So I'll be picking at that later today.
Yeah, I'm gonna be having a look once we've done this.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of maybe streaming a little later too. So a heads up to anyone out there. You could probably catch me in a little bit here. I'm just get myself together, and I got the day off, so maybe we'll go explore something too. So keep your notifications on. We'll go do something fun today.
So Garrow's put he died after opening the portals. They just decided to tell us on Easter. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you remember
because there was no footage of him since that was the last photo or the last media image of him.
Really?
Was when he did the portal.
I did hear that supposedly on Easter he made an appearance, but you know, we've been talking a whole lot about, you know, these. We were talking earlier. People are who they are, or you know, they could easily do that one.
Yeah, of course they can.
But very
people
interesting.
Can vanish. People can appear.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Andy.
No, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. And yeah, we definitely. I think this because you were saying like we were chatting off air, and like Mondays works good for both of us.
Yeah, because apparently I'm starting to get Mondays off. So but anytime, brother, anytime we'll make it happen.
We'll throw a few out on a Monday. So it's always good.
We got to get Nicole on.
Yes, when she's not working, she actually got called into work. She would have been here otherwise, but you asked her to go in the morning. So
much love, Nicole.
She sends her apologies. She will be watching or listening somewhere if she can. So
I think things will align for us. We'll get her on and we'll make it happen. But I appreciate you, Andy. Much love to you.
You too.
Anything you need, bro. You know, if I could pull it off, you hit me up.
Same goes.
I'm here for you, bro.
Nice.
All right. Much love, everyone. One love.
All right. Right, that's it. So I'm going to be back on Wednesday, 8:30 UK time with a guest. I don't know who it is because I've not got my calendar in front of me. But if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see exactly who it is. So just click on that, click the notifications, like, share, so on and so on. And that is pretty much it. So have a wonderful rest of your Monday. I'm back in work tomorrow. So, yeah, I'm not too about it, but it is what it is. Right, that's it. So take care. Have you got anything you want to add before I hit the end button?
I don't know. We'll see. We got the train going by here, which is a thing. But yeah, no. We're good to go, man.
Oh, good. Right. Have a wonderful time, everyone. I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care. Goodbye.
Goodbye.